Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Fiona Lore, and today I would like to talk to you about imposter thoughts. Now, what is an imposter thought, I hear you saying? Well, an imposter thought is any single thought that undermines your skills or doubts or questions your achievements or skills as such. Now, we all suffer from some imposter thoughts from time to time, and some people take it so far as that they are set on the imposter syndrome spectrum. However, don't label yourself with this, that's unnecessary. In today's age, we always have a lot of questions about whether we're good enough, whether we are performing good enough, whether we fit in society and whatever. And with this come a lot of imposter thoughts. Now, I'm gonna take a situation that happened to me yesterday where I'm gonna explain what happened to me and why all these thoughts came up. Now, yesterday I actually had my very first paying client, and this made me really proud. However, before I actually went into the conversation with this person, I was having all these thoughts thinking, am I good enough? Am I going to be asking the right questions? Are we even going to click? Is this person going to find me useful? Because in the end of the day, I need this person to write a good review for them to get me other people for mouth-to-mouth marketing. And I was really doubting myself, and I thought, wow, Fiona, you've been doing this so often. You've helped your family, your friends, colleagues at work. Every question they have, you're able to coach them through it somehow. And yet now that there is something dependent on it, so positive feedback, I'm suddenly starting to doubt myself. And I realized that this was actually something that I do very often in my very perfectionist life, where everything has to be perfect and I have to be in control. And I thought, just let it come over me. I'll see how it goes. Not as easily said as done. Not as easily done as said, because still beforehand, I was still having all these thoughts and they were racing and racing and racing. And I came to the conversation and I was having this one-on-one call with the client and everything went super well. And afterwards, when I had hung up the phone and the person had said, it was great, thank you so much, really useful, blah, 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 my mind started racing again and it said, but were you actually really useful, or is this person just saying that because they want to be socially acceptable? And this is where you can go wrong, because at the beginning, an imposter thought can actually help you, elevating your heart rate, making you sweat a little bit. It actually makes you more alert. I mean, adrenaline has a good function in making you more alert of your surroundings, making you think better, but too much and too many negative thoughts can actually go the other way, making you black out, feel really bad about yourself, and kind of want to dig your own grave and go hide in it. So that's not where we want to be going. And today I'm going to share a few tips with you on how to deal with imposter thoughts and how to not get rid of them, but at least make you deal with them a little bit better and not doubt yourself so much, because you are cool and you are rocking life. I'm super proud of you. Now, where do a lot of imposter thoughts come from is actually from comparing ourselves. We are constantly scrolling social media, watching YouTube videos, we're out on the streets, and everybody somehow always seems to be doing a lot better than us. Why? Because we're comparing. And you've heard it before, don't compare yourself with someone else, compare yourself with the you from last year. And that's, once again, so much easier said than done. However, it really does make a difference. Have you ever tracked your progress, whether it be in, for example, weight loss or your school records, report cards, or for example, in the way you write emails? Have you ever seen an email that you wrote 5 years ago and compare it to an email that you're writing now? If we're talking work life anyway. You'll probably see that there's a lot of positive progress, and that is something you could be proud of. Now, maybe when you're comparing to somebody who's been writing emails all their life, your email may not be as good as such. But why would you compare your chapter 2 with someone else's chapter 54? Just saying, just a thought. So stop comparing yourself is one of the bigger things in this whole situation of imposter thoughts, because as soon as you stop comparing yourself with others, you're free. You don't have to compare to others or to be better than others, because there is no competition. Life isn't a race. Even though we might be stuck in this rat race, it's not. Everybody has their own stressors. So on top of that, what I'd also like to say is identify your stressors. What do you find super stressful? So for me, for example, I used to be really afraid of what others thought of me. And sometimes it still pops in my head. Like, for example, yesterday, what did the person think? What did my client think of the way I talked to them? Were they happy with my questions or not at all? And that's a big thing, right? So if you're able to identify these stressors, you can actively challenge them. So instead of saying, was this person happy with me? I could ask myself, was I happy with myself? Did I deliver the quality that I wish to deliver? And sometimes that's really difficult because if we're in this negative self-talk circle, we're often overwhelmed with more negativity from ourselves, and we can say, well, I did not deliver it because this, and this went wrong. But have a look. Be really... be honest with yourself. What did go right? And only focus on that at the moment. Because you've been focusing on the negativity for so long. Why don't you owe it to yourself to actually look at the positive things that have been going right. And I assure you, you will feel a lot happier. Another way to get rid of imposter thoughts is to talk about them. Because what I realized yesterday when I shared it on my Instagram stories, I asked, am I the only one who suffers from imposter thoughts? And the majority of people, 92%, said, no, you're not the only one. Everyone suffers from them. And that's the funny thing, where with anything negative that happens to us, we always think that we're the only ones experiencing it. And that can seclude us and make us feel really lonely in the life we're living. But there's no reason for it. Now, I'm not saying start up an Instagram account, share everything that has happened to you, only talk about the negative things that you feel are going on. But how freeing would it be if you could talk to your best friend about this, or to your partner or your spouse, and say, gosh, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm feeling, could you please help me validate these feelings? And by talking about it, even, you're letting them go, because they're not taking up space in your head anymore. They're taking up a space in the open air, and there is a massive difference in that. And I think this is where I'm really shooting my shot as well, because I used to think that all these things to myself, and I'd really work myself up, and afterwards I wouldn't celebrate my successes. So for example, yesterday my client call went super well, but what I would have done normally is I would have just ignored it. Okay, great, I did well, but maybe I would have attributed it to chance. Maybe I just had a really easy client, or I was just having a good day. Normally I'm not this good. Does that sound familiar to you, that you're always attributing your successes to exterior other reasons other than yourself? Because that's another way that you are pulling yourself down, and that's not fair. Because if you're not going to attribute your successes to yourself, then you can't attribute the negativities or the things that don't go well to yourself either, because you got to keep it equal, yeah? So if you are constantly talking negatively to yourself, try talking positively to yourself for once. Now, the key to fixing imposter syndrome might be just achieving highly and grabbing that perfection and going for the best. However, this actually could worsen imposter syndrome because things are never good enough. And I'll come back to this point again. You must celebrate your success in order to actually feel proud of yourself. If you're only going to go from goal to goal to goal to goal and keep going higher and higher and higher, are you ever going to be satisfied? Is it ever going to be enough? Probably not. So, what I ask you today is to take it easy on yourself. Even though you might have these imposter thoughts saying, you're not good enough, are you sure you'll manage? Do you think you fit in? Why don't you answer them with yes, yes, and yes. Yes, I'm good enough. Yes, I fit in. And yes, I am worth it. So, in a row, stop comparing yourself to others. Become aware of your negative thoughts and challenge them. Talk about them with a friend. And try not to overachieve. Of course, reach for the highest, but celebrate your successes. And that's what I'd like to end with today. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a beautiful day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more of these tips. and I'll see you next video. Thank you.